like to call the September 15th Emmaus Borough Council meeting to order. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Personal appeals, part 1. Anyone with a personal appeal, please step forward, sign in, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Hearing none. Community minute. Any member of council have an item that they wish to bring forward? I just have one. We are in desperate need of volunteer crossing guards. We are down to 22, which means we had to eliminate corners this year. So if anybody is interested in volunteering for a half hour in the morning or afternoon, please contact the police department or the mayor, and we'll get you sworn in and get you your gear and get you out on a corner. Mr. Anders.
Has anyone talked to Lincoln and Jefferson to
Everybody gets notified.
Yeah.
They're all notified. It's in the newsletter. So yeah. Mr. Barrett.
I have one thing for the community minute. Just a notice, I guess, that the Halloween in Emmaus 5K race is open for registration. Race date is October 18th at 7 o'clock. The race starts right before the Halloween parade. Emmaus5k.com is the address that you can sign up at. So we already have 40 or so people signed up, which is right on track.
Thank you. Anyone else have an item? Hearing none. Special presentations. Mr. Pepe, we have nothing this evening?
No.
All right, which brings us to the reading of your minutes. In your binder are 2 sets of minutes. The September 2nd public hearing in reference to Ordinance 1111. We'll handle those minutes first. Is there a motion to dispense with the formal reading of those minutes? Motion by Mr. Anders. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion? Additions or corrections, rather? I'm sorry. Or no. We'll get it right tonight. Discussion. All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. And is there a motion to adopt as drafted? A motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion. All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. And which brings us to the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting for September 2nd. Is there a motion to dispense with a formal reading of those minutes? Motion by Mr. Lavenberg. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Additions or corrections? Motion to adopt is drafted. Motion by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Decision on bids. Mr. Pepe, do you want to talk to us?
Yes, you have a memorandum on your desk to look at. We had the Nova Chip project bid opening this afternoon. The project was for North Street as well as Green Drive. The low bidder was Dosh King Emotions. If you look at the 3 bids, you'll see they are extremely low in comparison with the other 2 bids. We need to do some due diligence with this company. There have been some negative reports that we've received, both historically with PennDOT and some of our surrounding municipalities. So I'm going to ask that you table this until we can do our due diligence in researching this company. The last thing I want to do is make a mistake and have a project that doesn't have the quality that we want in the borough. Hopefully everything's good, because we can probably do both North Street and Green Drive with the bids that they submitted, but we do have some concerns.
Mr. Barrett.
Time-wise, do we have any pressure in that?
Yeah. So this type of work must be completed by October 31st. So for your next council meeting, we're going to need to make a decision. That'll give us enough time to do our research, unless we find something that we need to send to the solicitor to try to disqualify them. But I can't say one way or the other. We're only working on, what we've been told at this point. So we need to make sure that we find facts rather than just opinions.
Right. So we could still use the other 2 bids. We wouldn't have to rebid.
That's correct.
Okay.
We would have to disqualify them, but there has to be a legitimate reason why you
Sure.
would. I'm hoping that
no,
everything
it's a big
is on the
savings.
up and up, but we want to make sure that we don't make a mistake on our end.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I have dealt with AMS and I've dealt with Dosh King. AMS has always done a great job, and Dosh King has done, at least on the one bid job that they got that I had to oversee, they did an all right job.
A what job?
They did one job in Upper Saucon that they did satisfactory work.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Was that recent? Because
About
from what
2
I'm-
years ago.
From what I'm reading, though, I mean, I'm sure you're going to contact these other municipalities and see what the issues were, and hopefully we can figure it out from there.
Correct. I'm more concerned about the fact that they may have been blacklisted from PennDOT for a number of years. We need to do some research. We also need them to qualify their bid. On a $50,000 project, I mean, they're $15,000 less than the next closest bid. So that, I mean, right out of the gate, that's concerning, because just in purchasing the materials, in talking with AMS, they're saying there's no way they could even do the job and break even for that cost. So when you hear that from a competitor, obviously you have to take it at face value, but we have the right to make them qualify their bid. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Upper Milford had an experience with them that was not the best experience. They did come back and fix it, but we want to make sure that they do it right the first time.
All right, so you want a motion to table for tonight?
I think Mr. Brown has.
Mr.
Yeah,
Brown?
I'd like to make that motion to table.
Motion to table by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. It's non-debatable. Discussion? All those in favor? You have 7 ayes. Communications. In your binder, the first item is a letter from Mr. Donchez inviting staff to speak on Tuesday, November 18th at 7:30 to approximately 9:30 at Fire Company Number 1. I'm going to refer this to staff. Mr. Pepe, you have a staff meeting tomorrow morning. If you could extend that invitation on Mr. Donchez's behalf. Also in your binder is a letter from David Petrohoy. Please accept this as my resignation from the position of Auxiliary Police Officer for the Borough of UMass, effective September 22nd. Is there a motion to accept Mr. Petrohoy's resignation? Motion by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? Mr. Leidenberg.
How many years of service did he give us?
That I don't know. Mr. Mayor,
Estimate?
do you know?
No, I know, but pretty many.
Yeah.
Like over
Yeah,
10
pretty
years?
many.
5 to 10?
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah,
around in
I'd say
there, I
so.
would say.
Yep.
If we could send him the normal thank you letter for his service.
Sure.
All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Also in your binder is a letter from Debbie Lilligard. She is the past president of the UMass Lions Club, asking for permission to hold the scarf shower on the Triangle Park for Saturday, October 4th. Setup is 8:30 and the event is from 9 to 2. She is asking that some of the parking spaces on the south side of the Triangle in the area of the UMass Jewel Shop be blocked off for the Lions for parking purposes. I normally refer this to committee, but I think this event takes place
October.
prior to
Yeah,
our next
October.
council meeting, so we need to take action this evening. Mr. Leidenberg.
I'll make a motion that we approve their request because this is the same event that we passed last year, and they're not asking for anything different than last year. And the parking would be handled by the mayor, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Right.
So I make a motion that we grant the
That we grant the
request.
permission. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shuvsta. Discussion? Mr. Shuvsta.
Can we put the flashing lights out for that, Shane? That there's an event taking place?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Mr. Barrett?
Could we just kindly remind them to submit, I mean, it sounds like this is going to be an annual event. I know last time they planned almost a year and a half in advance they started asking questions, so it may have just slipped through the cracks this time. But just to ask them if they can get this to us sooner so that if it does need discussion, it can be done in the proper channels.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Also on your desk, you should have a copy of a letter from Andrew Kelhart. Mr. Kelhart is resigning from the ambulance corps. Is there a motion to accept Mr. Kelhart's resignation? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shubsta. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Also on your desk this evening is a letter from Barnaby Rue. He is requesting to hold his boomerang tournament either on October 18th or October 25th. I was going to refer this to Parks and Rec, but I don't know if time-wise. Mr. Anders?
If they did it the 25th, we could handle it on the 7th at our next Parks and Rec meeting. I know the 11th date that they cannot do it because we have the bike race there coming in. And on the 18th, there is football, and then there's the Jefferson event, unless they want to hold that in the evening. Otherwise, it would have to be the 25th.
Okay, and that would be short notice for him. We have council meeting on the 6th and on the 20th, and your Parks and Rec meeting is the 7th, correct? He's had this event numerous times out in the park. Anyone feel comfortable making a motion this evening contingent upon the October 25th date?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Holtsafer.
Now, I do not know if they have football that day, if that would interfere or not.
He does say that if they have football, he'll come on.
He'll come on
After.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they play more Sundays than Saturdays now, football.
We'd say October 25th.
October 25th, yeah. Is there a second to second by Mr. Barrett? Discussion? Mr. Lambert?
Can we make that contingent upon providing the proper insurance? It says that they have it, but they need to
We
provide it.
didn't get a copy.
Yeah, they need to provide it.
If you could add that to your motion, Mr. Holtsafer?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barrett, are you all right with that? Adding
Yes.
that? All right. Any further discussion? Mr. Anders?
I just wanted to, again, because I was not part of this last year and different events, there was no previous charges for this?
Not that I recall. I don't think we charged him anything.
Okay.
Nothing. Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
December 5th.
Excuse me? I didn't think so.
That went down.
Also on your desk is the event form for the National Penn Bank Halloween in Emmaus 5K race. As Mr. Barrett had indicated, it's scheduled for October 18th. I'm just going to refer this to staff since this is an annual event. There's really
8 years?
really nothing that needs to be done at this point. It's handled by staff, so we'll refer that to staff. Good luck in that one. Do you want to do this now, or do you want to wait until your report?
We can wait till tomorrow.
All right. Any member of council have an item for communication? Mr. Pepe, do you have anything for communication?
No, I think you covered everything.
Mr. Mayor, do you have
No,
any?
I have none.
Nothing? Okay. Borough Engineers report, we have no report this evening. Solicitors report.
I have no formal report this evening.
Oh, okay. Very good. Unfinished business, part 1. In your binder is ordinance 1112. This is an ordinance establishing a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit zone and also establishing a right turn only during certain hours of school days on Pine Street to Macungie Avenue. This is scheduled for second reading this evening. Is there a motion to read this ordinance in short title? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubster. Discussion? Mr. Lambert?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I voted against this the first time it went through, and it's not because I'm opposed to the no turning. Is it left or right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm just opposed to the
Right
15 mile per hour posting because I don't think it's worthwhile if it's not enforced, and I don't see that being enforced. So.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr.
Actually,
Anders?
that was the same reason I believe the 15 mile an hour. I mean, the borough is 25 on most roads, and unless our police officers actually are going to sit over there and have radar, and we know, they don't have the resources to do that, it's tough. You go through a toll booth and it says 15 miles an hour. How many times do you see that light go a lot higher? I mean, most of us are probably guilty of that, so it's just, I agree with Mr. Lavenberg's assessment.
Any further discussion? The motion is to read in short title. All those in favor?
You can read it in short title. I don't want to hear the length of it.
Oh.
7 ayes. I'll read the whole thing if you want me to. All right, this is
going to vote against that.
This is ordinance 1112, an ordinance amending the provisions of Chapter 15, Section 201, establishing a maximum speed limit on a portion of North 7th Street, and Section 210, establishing a right turn only during certain hours on school days from Pine Street to Macungie Avenue. Now, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1112 as read? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Barrett. Discussion.
Just the other thing, the cost to put two 15 mile per hour signs up, I think we could use to spend elsewhere.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Schubster.
Aye.
Mr. Anders.
Nay?
Mr. Labenberg.
No.
Mr. Holthafer.
No.
Mr. Barrett.
Aye.
All right. All right. Mrs. Gilbert votes aye. Ordinance 1112 passes. Those voting no are Anders, Labenberg, and Holthafer.
Anders voting nay.
So there's 2 no's and 1 nay.
You guys are tough tonight. Tough,
Make sure
tough,
that's
tough.
in the minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it will be.
Yeah.
Spell that.
You got that right, Paula. All right. Under new business, we have an ordinance 1111. Actually, on your desk is a new version of this ordinance.
1113?
I'm sorry, what did I say? 1111, 1113.
This one's no good.
Ordinance 1113 talks about section 408, standing or parking on roadway for loading and unloading, and also section 602.2A, handicap parking, and the new version on your desk.
So what we did was you received the loading and unloading ordinance. All we're doing is adding in, because it's an amendment to Chapter 15. We found a handicap parking space that can be removed. So rather than doing 2 separate ordinances,
It's combined.
we threw it onto that one.
All right. So this is first reading. Is there a motion to read this in short title? Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. Ordinance 1113, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Sections 408, standing or parking on roadways for loading or unloading, and Sections 602.2A, handicap parking in the codified ordinance. This is coming out of Public Safety Committee. It was brought to our attention that the language in the original ordinance for Chapter 15 basically dealt with vehicles being double parked and loading and unloading, and an issue surfaced that we needed to revise the language. So now you will not be permitted to load or unload between certain hours in the neighborhood.
Which was the original intent, by the way.
Correct. So is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1113 as read. Motion by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Anders. Discussion? Mr. Ladenburg.
On the Safety Committee meeting minutes, I'm assuming it's Shane's dyslexia that came out because it says 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is supposed to be the opposite, correct?
No, the original, yeah, so the original ordinance said that, there was no loading or unloading from 8 to 8. The new ordinance says 8 to 6.
But this says 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Where in the ordinance
Your ordinance
says,
is right. I know that. The ordinance is right. The minutes are probably wrong.
and this says 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The a.m.s and p.m.s are reversed. That's why I'm questioning it.
Probably.
One of them tells you when you can't, one of them tells you
Yeah.
when you can.
Okay.
The ordinance is right. The new version, I had 5 people look at the new version. So
That's fine. It's just
What this language does is prohibits anyone from loading or unloading at 3 a.m.
okay.
that was the goal.
That was the goal.
That was the
The
goal
way that
there.
the way that it was originally written by the same dyslexic person was that they can't double park between 8 and 8. So
So we needed to correct that. All right, this is a roll call vote. Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Shuvsta.
Aye.
Mr. Anders.
Aye.
Mr. Ladenburg.
Aye.
Mr. Holzapfer.
Aye.
Mr. Barrett.
Aye.
Mrs. Gilbert votes aye. Ordinance 1111 passes.
11:13.
1113, I'm sorry.
so it'll be advertised for the second meeting in October.
Thank you. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord.
That's not a word. Can you pronounce that word?
All right. Unfinished business part 2. We have nothing on the agenda this evening. Items not on the agenda subject to Rule 9. Any member of council have an item they wish to bring forward? Hearing none. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
I only have one thing that I'm sure you council people know why we put trick or treat night on Thursday instead of Friday. Well, I got quite a few calls on that, and really, that's the smartest thing to do for the safety because the kids running around. That's why we did it, really. You know, and
Very
that's going
good.
to be a big game in Emmaus.
It's a home football game.
And Mayor, you know, the police force would be spread pretty thin if they're
Right.
down covering the football game. They can't be in the neighborhoods at the same time.
Right.
So.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Committee reports. Public Works. Mr. Ladenburg.
Public Works met here in Council Chamber September 4th. You can look at the various issues we addressed. There is one that we have to take action on. It says on the agenda, it says purchase sidewalk saw, but it's actually renting a sidewalk saw. And I will make a motion that we, and it was recommended by the committee by a 3-0 vote, to allow Mr. Daishala to rent a sidewalk saw from United Rental for 1 week in the amount of $585 to cut up to 15 sidewalks. And that's, you know, time permitted because they have it for 1 week. If they're able to, they'll do more, but that's a limit that we set.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion. All those in favor? There's 7 ayes.
And if nobody has any questions, I will.
Mr. Anders?
Go ahead, Roy.
Just out of curiosity, how did we end up with the pool then this year as far as concessions and its overall attendance?
I will direct that to Shane.
I direct at the chairman of the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Oh, back at
Oh,
you.
that would be you.
We were profitable on both ends.
You were. Okay, very
Which we never thought in a million years we could profit
Right.
in the concession stand. We were actually $5,000 on the positive end.
good. Excellent.
Oh, excellent.
So, and
It goes to good management, I would say.
absolutely, absolutely.
100%.
She cut costs. The quality of the food was better. I mean, the
And our price reductions help drive some
price
additional-
reductions definitely helped drive sales again. Obviously, the whole month of August was a loss all the way around. You know, in your own personal pool, if you have one, you probably didn't use it a whole lot in August. But June and July were good months.
Yeah, when you hit a high of 68 on an August summer day, it's,
Yeah.
you know things aren't good.
We still have some things to address in the pool with staffing and personnel, but on the concession stand side, this was kind of a make or break year for us as to how we were going with that. And I would say that what we did this year was successful. So moving forward, I would recommend if we can keep our hands on her,
so to speak.
Yeah. If we can keep her employed.
All right, I report
Chip
progress.
This is the
Never did
NFL.
Progress.
That's,
Oh, goodness.
All right, Mr. Ladenburg, you're reporting progress?
Yes.
Health, sanitation, conservation, Mr. Schuster.
Thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 18th at 4:30 p.m., and I'll report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Anders.
yes, our next meeting is October 7th and at 4 p.m. and I'll report progress.
Thank you. Public safety, we have one item that needs action this evening with the retirement of Chief Nonamaker that left a vacancy on the Board of Health. So the committee is recommending that we appoint Jeff Hoffman to the term expiring January 1st of 2016. And that would be to the Board of Health. Mr. Brown?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Second, Mr. Barrett. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. I believe that was all that we have for official action other than the 2 ordinances this evening. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I'll report progress. General Administration, Mr. Barrett.
Yes, we have one item that requires official action. If you'll turn to your packet, you will see a license agreement with for Mike Williams of Motors Plus. If you'll take note in there, there's also a map. If this was not clear, the map certainly clarifies what this is. So I'll place that in the form of a motion to approve the license agreement for parking with Motors Plus at 33 Kleins Lane, with the agreement to include a rental fee of $500 per month.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubster. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
And just a general note, because it's come up over the last 2 to 3 years, or I guess I should say it's really come up since, I guess, the police moved out of the basement, that we've talked about what could be done with the basement. There's just a little bit of information there, some of the discussion that we've had. And at one point, I think we thought that that was going to be an extremely costly project. I think on just preliminary estimates in a very conversational sense that it could be significantly less to do something. So if anyone thinks that there's a real good use for that, start to talk about that and get those ideas to the General Administration Committee, and maybe that will go somewhere and we'll find a use for the basement in this building. Other than that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Mr. Holzhofer.
Thank you, ma'am. First would be the bill list. I'll read the resolution. Resolution 2014-35, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the September 15, 2014 bill list as follows. Bill list, $228,747.58. Payroll number 18, $118,060.41. Payroll taxes, $39,290.72 for a total of $386,098.71. Done this 15th of September 2014, and I'll make that into the form of a motion.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubster. Discussion? All those in favor? There's 7 ayes.
Nope.
6 ayes. Those abstaining. Mr. Ladenburg.
Because I am on the bill list.
In writing, please.
We didn't approve that.
Next on my agenda would be the MMOs. We have 2 MMOs to go over this evening. We have the Police Pension Plan MMO and the Employees Pension Plan MMO. I will make individual motions for each one. My first motion would be to approve the 2015 minimum municipal obligation for the Emmaus Police Pension Plan.
Is there a second? A second by Mr. Schubster. Discussion? All those in favor? There's 7 ayes.
My next motion would be a motion to approve the 2015 minimal municipal obligation for the Borough of Emmaus Employees Pension Plan.
You place that in form of a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubster. Discussion. All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
I believe that's all I have in official action for this evening, and I will report progress.
Thank you. Community Relations, Planning and Development, Mr. Brown.
Nothing for official action for tonight. Our next meeting will be October 14th at 4:15 here in council chambers. Progress.
Thank you. Personal Appeals Part 2. Anyone with a personal appeal, please step forward, sign in, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Hearing none. Borough Manager's Report, Mr. Penry.
I have a couple things. First of all, if you visit our website, I want to thank Mr. Schupsta for his work on our new website. So same web address. The website is up and live. We're having some glitches within the building. However, you're able to access it as the public. So if you see any glitches, let me know, and we'll try to fix them. Right now, we have to edit outside of the building because of the firewalls on our server won't let us access half the stuff. But if I access it from my laptop at home, everything comes up perfect.
So secure we can't get in it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Either that or he did shabby work. It's one or the other.
Blame Jeff.
But it's all right. We're trying to figure out the firewall issue on the server. So thank you, Mr. Schupsta.
It seemed to work well when I came in.
Yeah, but as time went on, I mean, again, you broke it.
We'll fix it.
I also want to note, very proud to say that we were recently named number 5 on the list of the safest communities in Pennsylvania. That is something that our police department in particular should be proud of. So I'm certainly proud of that, and I think we all should be. So,
Mr. Barrett.
And I mean, I always, when I see these types of studies that come out, and you always feel, oh, is it just one of these advertising schemes? But if you looked at the criteria that they looked at, it's indisputable. It wouldn't matter if it was a business trying to sell an award or not. It's taking the crime statistics, and the crime statistics, we were the 5th lowest of any municipality over 10,000 people, which I think is something to be very proud of. It shows that we really are a community that is a comfortable place to live. So I think it's very notable.
Absolutely. The last thing is on your desk. You'll see a resolution for plan revision for new development. This was just put on my desk this morning for signature. So the 15th Street subdivision, you guys council approved the plans at the last meeting. However, they need to have the plan revision approved through a resolution. Everything's kosher. The attorneys have looked at it. The engineers have examined it. But we do need to approve the resolution for plan revision for new land development through a resolution. So I'm asking for approval for that tonight.
Is there a motion to that effect? Motion by Mr. Anders, second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? Mr. Barrett.
So the difference between this and what we approved the last time?
Do you want to
Sewer extension
speak
is
to that at all?
My understanding, it has to deal with the sewer.
Okay.
Correct. So they had a couple of things that they had to finish up. There were some contingencies.
Yeah.
For us to formally adopt the plan, they had to get those approvals done. So.
Okay. So this is just certifying that they got done.
Yep.
And it goes to DEP.
Okay.
They-
Yeah,
it's paperwork
I'd never
that
seen
they're
this before, so.
We don't have a whole lot of brand new development.
Yeah, no.
It's usually redevelopment.
Yeah.
So for brand new development, you do
This is
end
standard.
up getting these.
Gotcha.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? You have 7 ayes.
Thank you. You have the significant revenue and expense items in your binder if you have any questions on those. Otherwise, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Under President's Business, I have nothing this evening. How about that?
That is the correct answer.
Are you sure?
You guys kept all your comments short this evening, so that was good.
Thank you.
So I have nothing further. So is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion? All those in favor? We got 7 ayes. We are adjourned at 7:35.
Go Eagles!
Pick off. Told you I'd get you out.
Have